Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness, today is Tuesday. It is Tackle It Tuesday. That's how I have dubbed it. Now, if you're a content creator and you want to play along, use the hashtag tackle it, and you can do it on whatever day you want to. There are some people that do Thursday, some people that do Friday. I happen to do Tuesday. And what that is I am going through and finding some of my older whips, and we're talking really old. I've got a sweater, it's 10 years old, right? And I'm working on that. So I'm doing that and going through and deciding, do I keep it? Do I rip it out? And I'm not going through everything at once because that's daunting, and that's why we get into trouble. What I have found is I'm working on some of the things. I'm actually doing it. And that to me is so exciting. And when I mentioned I have long-standing whips, I have a pair of socks that I started 19 years ago. I know because the instructions I printed off, has the little date stamp on it, was 19 years ago. And that is a pattern by Cookie A, the Pomatomus socks. I think that's how you say it. It might not be. So this one was done, and after I pulled it out and everything, I realized that has been washed. That yarn has been washed. And it discouraged me at first because it's like slightly felted and it feels amazing. It's squishy. And you can see a little bit of a difference in the color between the two. That's fine. I grabbed it and I am now, we see the marker right here? I have done this much with my socks that have been in hibernation for 19 years. And that's a good stopping point at the moment because now I am ready to turn the heel. Well, actually to do the heel and the gusset. So this is where I'm at right here. I get to do that part, which is a twisted rib for that heel portion, and then get down to the gusset and finish off the top of the sock. So not quite half done with the sock, but it's exciting since I like to do at least 10 pair a year, or that's my goal anyway. This one is pretty close, right? I am close to being finished. I just have to go ahead and work on it. And I've grabbed the pattern. I figured out where I am. I know how to do this. That is very exciting. So much so that I kind of want to make another pair once this one's done. I'm not going to promise that because that's chaos, right? That's a lot. I've got other stuff going on, but I thought that was really fun and just a really exciting thing to do. Now I also have some sweaters that I'm working on. I have the Miranda sweater, and that one right there is 10 years old. And then I have a brown tweed sweater. It's a brown wool, a rich brown wool, and the tweedy bits are multicolored. So those two sweaters I also have. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on. I did some close-up videos with those particular items on the mannequin, so you can really see the details of that. So this beautiful work of art, this one is Miranda. I found this in the box and I started her a decade ago, literally a decade ago. And I thought this is a better way to try to show off what this looks like. And the sleeves, the color work, this one I'm down to working on this. I think I did the sleeves doing the 2x2 ribbing with size 8s. These are size 6s, so I'm gonna rip that part out and redo that one. And here it is. So you've got this pattern right through the center, and then you've got this going down. I know when I hold it up, it's hard to see, but this is much easier. So this has this nice shaping here, and you're like, wait a minute, that's weird. You've got stockinette here. I know. Now the pattern says you can do a kangaroo pouch, right? And what you do on this, I've got needles right here. So this is just holding, those stitches aren't live. I just have that threaded through like you would a lifeline. So I know that that's where I'm going to pick up stitches again along that line to do that kangaroo pouch if I decide that's the route that I'm going to do. What I was waiting on is finishing up the sleeves, which this one's not done yet, but finishing up those sleeves and then deciding how exactly I want to finish this off. I've got another full skein of yarn, and down here I've got that little bit. Okay, that's lovely. Yeah, these socks are clean. So if I decide I don't want to do the kangaroo pouch, I will be pulling it out back to here. This right here, all of this is new this year since I started my Tackle It Tuesday series, and the sleeves. This one did not have the sleeves. You can see the lifeline here where I split the top, the yoke, So I've got the same thing over here, right? That's where I split. So I've done the sleeves on this and I've done this. And if I decide I want the kangaroo pouch, this stays. If I don't, then I have to rip out to here and then finish off. I'd still be doing this ribbing style, this broken rib kind of cable-ish pattern, going down, continuing on that angle right here on both sides. I would still do that, but I wouldn't have the opening for the kangaroo pouch. The other option that we have for this beautiful sweater is a hood. I have one full skein of the yarn left, and then the pieces that you saw on the floor, that's it. I think I might have enough. I'm not really sure. Still debating on here. I have not tried this on since I got the sleeves to that level. So I'll have to do that, make sure that I like them. You can see I've still got this hanging right here. This right here, here's my ball. That is what I have left of the one full skein of yarn that I used for this arm. And I've got the same thing, mess on the floor for the other one. There's a reason I don't cut my yarns necessarily. As we discussed, this is 10 years old. I started this a decade ago, and it's just been in bags and boxes and bins since then. And with me not cutting the yarns, if I decide to change my mind, do different shaping or anything along that line prior to it getting finished, I might not have as many ends to weave in after the fact. So that's why I do it that way. But that's just my preference. Everyone has something that they want to do different. And like I say, as long as you don't rip it out, there's a chance you can finally get it done. So I'm thrilled with this. This one is Miranda. So here's my brown sweater that we found in my vintage Tackle It Tuesday box. And I'm so proud of this. You can see where I've got the marker here. This is as far as I had to pull this back to get it to a comfortable size for me, for my body. Since I've changed, since I actually started this, I'm not sure how many years ago. So this was where I pulled it back. I pulled back, you can see here, going like this. I have some decreases going this way, and I pulled it back and got rid of 2 of those decreases because I'm just not that small, and they went down too far. And that's more towards the waist. I did straight right there, and then I did some increases, some paired increases here to give a little bit more room for the hips. And I'm going to make it a little bit longer. I've got to add a fresh skein of yarn to make that just a tad bit longer, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the ribbing. I'll try it on my body just to make sure that that still works. I think the collar still looks nice up there, so I'm good with that. I didn't do anything waist shaping or any other shaping and everything on the back. It's just this right here that I had started years ago. Let's see if we can get a better, here we go. We can see some of those coming down this way. You can see it like that, how the stitches are angling. Yeah. So that's where I did some decreases right there. And I'm really happy with it. I'm happy that this is out of the box. I'm really pleased that it's getting some action again. It's very exciting. So as you saw I do have people who watch my channel that are vision impaired. So on the Miranda sweater, I haven't gone through a good detailed description of the color of that one recently. Let's see. That is this right here. And that it's stormy. It is such a stormy color. I think it is called Storm. It's got the white in it, gray, black, blues, and it just looks like a nighttime stormy sky. And the way that it patterns up, I've got a mess here. The way that that is patterning up is it's just stunning. It's a true variegation. The colors are not stacking on each other. I'm not getting pooling of that. That is just some really stunning, wonderful color saturation throughout. So really thrilled with this one as a project. A lot of fun. That is a lot of fun. And on the brown sweater, that is the Patton's Classic Worsted Wool. And like I said, for the people who have, issues seeing and everything, so this is the dark brown, and the fleck bits in it, since it is a tweed, there's some orange, some green, looks like a rust, a little bit of a yellow, and look at that up close. So it's got all sorts of colors in that tweed, and it just feels amazing. So this is a 90% wool yarn, 7%, I think it's viscose, and 3% those little flecky bits. Yeah, 7% acrylic and 3% is viscose. So I got those backwards. But it's a 90% wool. It is a hand wash. Both of those sweaters will definitely be hand wash sweaters. And well, we know the sock's going to be fine since that one was washed. And you can see a little fuzzed out texture. I mean, it's just shrunk down just a little bit, and it's made it so much squishier and soft. So I'm looking forward to getting that one done. I will end up washing the one sock that was not washed yet separately, and then from then on they can be washed together, and that's just to make sure they have more of an even wear. That's the only reason. So those are the 3 projects from my bin that I'm currently working on. I still need to pull this hat out. Come on. Oh, it's tangled. It's tangled. I'm going to pull this hat out. This is a colorwork one that was in my bin that I started a while back. And, you know, on the camera, it's well, you can see some little rippling here and you're like, oh, that's just tight on the needles, right? You know, not really. That's just going to fall back like that. I don't know if we can see it here on the back side. Yeah, so you can see that kind of rippling. I pulled my floats a little bit tighter than what I should have. And that's the importance of keeping them on the back side slightly loose, a little bit more comfortable, because you can't block that out, right? That's a string that you have behind your work. And if it's too tight, it will always be too tight. So as beautiful as that pattern is, this one's going to get ripped out. I do have 2 ball winders. I might do that. Here's this is what the yarn is. It's gorgeous, fingering weight yarn. And I might go ahead and put those on the ball winders, but I think what I'm going to end up doing instead is pull the needles out and wrap both of them at the same time, you know, a little bit on each one as I unravel the skein of the yarn. So that one will be out of my bin. I could, if I wanted to, I'm just not feeling the hat anymore. I mean, if I wanted to, I could keep that ribbing. Now the ribbing is a I don't know if it's a true cable or a mock cable. It looks like twisted stitch is like a mock cable. I'm not sure, but I've got that ribbing down there and that still looks nice. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a solid color. That's that mustard color. It's a solid color. The rest of the hat's in the orange, so the 2 colors together. I could pull it back to that point and then use that ribbing and then choose to still do a color work or whatever type of hat I want to, since the ribbing's there, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that is an option if I want to make another, you know, because we know I like this color. I mean, hello, look what I'm wearing, a mustard colored shirt. We know that is definitely a color I enjoy. So that's another option that I hadn't really thought of, but that would be a good way to salvage what can be salvaged and what can be used, and pulling out the parts that I've gotten better. That's just it. I have gotten better from the time period that I started this hat. And this was a very big project for me at the time to do an all over color work, intricate design like that. That was a very big task. And I like that pattern. And I think that one is by bunnymuff. I think that's the designer on this one. I'm going to have to go back and look. Now that I look at that again and how that's lined up, that is beautiful. That is really pretty. I just, like I said, this one's not good enough. It's just not good enough. Now, had I finished it back in the day, I'm not going to lie, I would have been wearing it with pride. I mean, just because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy that went into this. But I can happily say my skills have improved over the years. And I bet if you were to go and grab some of your projects that are maybe when you were first learning, a little bit older, you're going to find that you've also improved in various ways that you didn't really realize or think of. I don't think I necessarily noticed the puckering on that when I first started working on it. I just didn't. That's not why it got sat down. I got sat down because I was working on other things. As we see with all the things that I work on a weekly basis, there are some things that just get pushed aside. And that was one of them. I do like the idea kind of I'm curious. That's it. It's more of a curiosity. I'm very curious with the enhanced skill and the things that I have learned about color work, and just perseverance. I mean, that's just it. It's practice and perseverance. I am really curious, if I grab that pattern again, can I get that much better? I mean, would I be able to get, rip that out? How quickly would I be able to get to that point again, or close to it? I mean, I don't know. Now it's almost like a personal challenge. Does that make sense? That's like a personal challenge to see. Rip that back to the ribbing, since there's nothing wrong with the ribbing, and personal challenge, see what I can do with that. And the other thing is, would I use the mustard and the orange like I have, or I've got that same mustard and I've got hot pink too. Would I keep the orange, or would I go to hot pink? I mean, I don't know, a little playing on the wild side, right? I get a little crazy. Well, then you definitely know it was different. And I think I need to, when I pull this off the needles, I need to take some close-up pictures to where you can really see that puckering that I can see in person. Man, can you see that rippling? Yeah, there you go. You can see that rippling right there. That's not because it's on the needles. That's all the way down. That is me just pulling too doggone hard. You can see it's relaxed, and you can feel the bumps on it. You can just see that and feel that. Wow. I am just very pleased with, I've persevered. I kept at it. I did it anyway. There were so many things that I wanted to do. And each project, I just got a little better. I learned different ways of holding my yarn, different techniques as far as that's going. And like I said, the biggest thing is practice and practice. That's it. The yoke sweaters, making multiple of the yoke sweaters with all the color work, that was amazing. Making the sweater for my granddaughter, I don't even know if I have a picture of that one. I'm sure I do. Where I did with party yarn, Joanne party yarn that was worsted weight, and the entire sweater was color work. That to me was massively impressive. I've never done that before. That was just, every step led me to an all over garment. Every step led me to that confidence that I could do that. And whatever you're doing with your craft, wherever you're at, whether you're knitting, you're crocheting, you're weaving, you're macrameing, however you're using your yarn, don't be afraid of it. Jump out, try it out. And you know what? If you make a mistake or you don't like it like this, I've gotten better, just rip it out. You can do it again. This isn't mohair. This isn't, some soft fuzzy yarn that's sticking to itself. I can rip that out very easily and choose to redo it. And then, I obviously like the yarn. I've got a bunch of it. Choosing to redo it, make something that I enjoy, that I can show off, and, just going, oh yes, I did that. And this one, it's a challenge. It is a challenge. So I might have to do that. We'll see. We'll see. But that kind of got me excited. Before it was just, I'm going to rip it out. I mean, why not? It's been a long time since I worked on it. I don't have that emotional attachment to it. Like when you first start a project and you've put a lot of time and energy and effort into it, you have an emotional attachment, and maybe you don't want to rip it out right then. Sometimes it needs to sit by itself for a little while. All those feelings go away. You don't remember all of the stuff, how much time and energy you put into it, and it's no big deal ripping it out. And that's where I'm at on this. But seeing that again and seeing how ripply it is in person, and how those floats were just, you can stretch it, but I mean, it's not going to block. It's not going to block out. It just won't. If you make your floats too tight, it will pucker. That's the word I was thinking, pucker, not ripple. So it will pucker. That's just how it's going to work. But seeing that, it has me excited because I've gotten better. I've gotten better, and now I'm curious. I'm very curious. I think I need to go find that pattern. If I find it, I'll put it down below. But I think it's bunnymuff. I remember I bought a book, an ebook. I bought an ebook off of Ravelry, and I can see here, I can see it. I can see the cover of the book. I can see it. French, something in Paris. I remember the book. There's like 7 or 8 ebooks, 7 or 8 patterns in it. And I made something else from the pattern book, but that was years and years ago. Yeah, right? I mean, that's what all of this is about, is going through things years and years ago. So maybe next week we'll go through and look in this bin a little bit more. But being that I've got actively working on more than one project in the bin right now, I think we're going to wait on that. And I lost, oh my gosh, I squandered the opportunity that I had when all of the grandkids were over. I had all of them here. It was wonderful, by the way. That was just amazing. But they were all over, and I didn't even think about it. I have a pink top/dress in the bin that just needs some finishing work, and I don't want to do that yet because the sleeves to me do not look big enough. They don't look big enough. I made it years ago. You know, sometimes we do things, it's my own pattern, we get proportions wrong and it doesn't look right to me. And I don't want to finish it off if it's not going to fit over a child's arms. It just isn't. For that matter, I'll have to show you this sweater. It's another sweater I bought at a wooden spools before they went out of business. It was a yarn store here in Colorado, and they had gone out of business last year, and they had their samples for sale, everything else. And this is a gorgeous rust colored sweater, absolutely beautiful, child size, so soft, so squishy. I have no idea the fiber that was used. Pretty sure it's a hand wash. That is, I mean, it just feels luxury, hand knit, right? And the last time I had some of the grandkids over, I grabbed that and I said to one, the little boy, I'm like, hey, because the little boy sweater, gorgeous. I'm like, can you try it on? Well, he wasn't interested in trying it on right then, but mom and dad took it home, and he was excited about wearing it after that. Well, he tried to put it on and it didn't go over his head. And it's like, well, he doesn't look like he's got an abnormally large head or what have you. So then they tried to put it on the 2-year-old and it didn't go over her head. So the person who made the sweater, it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I will have to show that on the next episode. And the bind off was so tight, it wouldn't go on any of the kids' heads regardless of the size of the sweater. And she brought it back to me, said he was really excited. He wanted to wear this, but it doesn't fit. I think the body and everything will fit, but if you can't get it over your head, it doesn't matter. So the way it's bound off, I think I'm going to be able to cut that last, because obviously it's woven in also, the ends were woven in. I'll have to get scissors, cut that, unravel around, maybe 2, and then bind off very, very loose so it can actually be worn. So those are some things that if you don't have somebody around, you're making a project, the person who made it, beautiful. The knitting was gorgeous, and the fabric, the yarn, everything about this was spectacular. The bind off was too tight, but they didn't have anyone around to check. And it's the same with me with my garment. It's cute, and I think it'll look great, but if the child can't fit their arms in, and it's like all like this, it's not going to work. So I squandered that opportunity. It did not even dawn on me to grab that and everything. So maybe next time I will do that when the kids come over. But yeah, that's where we're at with all of that stuff. It's funny, I wasn't going to stay on long today. I had a long day and I'm tired, and I woke up, I took a nap, and after work and everything, I woke up. That's why my face is all red, because I was sleeping right there. So, I'm like, I need to do my video before it's bedtime, right? I wake up from my nap to do a video so that I can go to bed. Yeah, so I really expected to be on here for maybe 5 minutes, but evidently, when I start talking about yarn and yarn related things, I don't shut up. I mean, you know this, you've been here, you know this. And it just, no matter what my day is, good, bad, it really doesn't matter. I get here and I start talking about yarn and I perk up. My husband comments on it. He's like, oh my gosh, you can be exhausted from just exhausted. I don't know about you. That time change kicked my backside. There's no other way to put it. I am just, wow. That hour difference is just crazy. But he's made that comment that I will come into my room to film, and he's like, you're like a different person. You just light up. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm talking about yarn and creating things, and how can you not be excited? It's like all the whatever's going on in your life, all the everything just gets washed away, and all you can concentrate on, for me anyway, when I come in here, is just the beauty and the creation and the what can be, all the opportunities, all the things that can happen. And I don't see bad in here, if that makes any sense. There's no bad when it's yarn related and you know, just being a creator, it's all good. It's 100% all good. And I'm so happy that I have this opportunity to share all of this with you and the excitement with it, because that's genuine. I mean, that is 100% genuine. You know, my husband, if I have a bad day or something like that or whatever, he's like, here, honey, touch the yarn. And he will literally go and grab the yarn and put it in my hands. He's like, you need to touch the yarn because you are stressed. You are this, you are the whatever, right? Because stuff, whatever. And so now that I'm filming, I swear the next thing he's going to do is he's going to grab the yarn, put it in my hands and say, hey, touch the yarn and go do a film. You know, he's like, you light up, you know, and it's true. I really do, because this is a wonderful time. This is so joyous for me to be able to come in here and talk about all of the different projects. And I swear you guys encourage me and egg me on in positive ways, in definitely positive ways, with working on older projects and, you know, kind of that never give up. I think that's really where that comes from, is the never give up. Unless it's completely ripped out, there's a chance that it can get done. I've got the 19-year-old pair of socks I'm working on. I wasn't working on it for 19 years, but that's when I started them, right? The 19-year-old pair of socks, the 10-year-old sweater, the brown one, that's at least 5, probably more, right? I don't know exactly when I started that one, but you know, I've got all of these vintage whips. Yes, these are vintage whips, and doing something about it. And there's something about being able to talk through and share these types of things. Like, before we got on, this was just going to be scrapped. I mean, why? You know, it's whatever. But now I'm looking at it as a challenge, and that's an excitement thing. And I don't know if I would have done that necessarily without sitting here and talking it through with all of you. And that's what I mean by this. I understand I can't really hear you in my head. I would admit that. Just saying. I wouldn't admit it. Don't admit those things. You'll get in trouble. but it's like we're having a conversation. I feel that, you know, because there's those text messages and the comments down below, and I can just hear the comments, right? You know, so those I do hear because I read them, right? But yeah, that's how that goes. Well, anyway, I was going to cut this one short, and I have been chattering for a lot longer than I expected. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.